Welcome everyone to the Horrorcast, episode 26. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Tim. What's up, Tim?
How you doing?
All right. Well, going to talk before everybody comes on because I think only you've seen and I have seen this. I don't know who else has seen it, but Bates Motel. Tim got me into series. Started the whole series one in a matter of I think 2 or 3 days, right? The whole 10 episodes. Boom. And I gotta say, I freaking loved it. Another favorite of mine now, which I can't wait. I gotta watch the second season and then one third. When does the third season come on? Did it start already?
It should be early next year.
Early next year? Because they advertised for it already, didn't they?
I don't think so. It usually runs in January.
Yeah?
January to February, yeah.
Well, Bates Motel is, I saw the series one. Fantastic. Hey, Charlie, what's up?
Hey guys,
You watch Bates Motel?
I love Bates Motel. I've seen both seasons.
Don't tell me anything about season 2. We're just going to talk about season 1. Okay. I love it how everything is going on, and most of the killing is being done. It's not even them. It's all these friggin' people. It's like everybody else is nuts. You know, it's like you go in different directions from when you first see it to towards the end, right? Do you think, well, maybe, you know, the mother isn't bad, and then you think, well, maybe she is, or maybe Norman Bates isn't crazy, and then he is. It's like, you know, and you're going back and forth, and you're trying to figure out how this is going to come to be, and then you see the taxidermy, like, you know, you see, oh, that's how he learned how to do it, you know? It gets really, really deep, and then you get to see how corrupt this friggin' town is, you know? It's like you think the sheriff is on the up and up, and then all of a sudden he knows people like breaking the law. He's like, all right, shh, you know, like it's like stuff like that. Like nobody says anything, you know. And then one minute he wants to arrest her, and then the next minute he's like, "That's what we're gonna do," right? It's like, what are you talking about? You would think that would turn into like 4 episodes, you know, and it's like over in like 5 seconds. And I'm like, you know, I love the actress. What's her name that plays Norma?
Oh God, I don't know.
Is it
Vera
Farmiga?
Farmiga?
Yeah. Oh my God, she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the guy that plays Norman's like a British actor, right?
Oh yeah,
he's British.
He's got a thick British accent too.
Crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
the girl too. The girl with the oxygen tank. She's also British.
really, and you wouldn't even know it. You wouldn't even know it.
No.
But I in 3 days I saw the first season, and now it's like I have to see the second season right away. Do we have a date, Charlie, on season 3?
If we do, it's probably mid-September.
It is September.
I believe so.
You think
So
so?
I saw a trailer on
I'll
it.
look that up right now, though.
I saw
The
a
last 2
trailer.
It's running January, so I mean maybe they're bringing it forward. That'd be cool.
I saw a trailer on season 3, and I'm like, wow. You know, like I just saw them. Oh man, I can't wait to see the second season. We could talk about it. Did want to talk about some horror news we got today. There was an article that came up during the week that I didn't get to do because I was busy working and stuff, but they are going to have the Leatherface, the early years, when he was a teenager. And I guess they're trying to show how he became the way he did, and what started him killing, like if he was always like that, or if he was just, you know. So I don't know how that's going to work.
I'm guessing it had something to do with his dysfunctional family. I mean, the granddad in the chair and all that.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, no one be a little younger, you know what I'm saying? But this is one of the ideas that they're actually putting forward, that they want to, I guess they want to go in that direction where they have the early years of Leatherface. Okay. I mean, they're also still going to do the sequel, by the way, to the last one. So they're doing kind of 2 movies with they're going to do a separate franchise, I guess, with the young Leatherface. And then they're going to continue the story from the last Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's pretty interesting. What do you think?
Well,
What do you think?
I've never seen the original, so I don't really have a comment on it.
Right.
Sorry.
What do you think, Tim?
yeah, I only saw it this last year. I mean, it was one of the ones I missed when I was a kid. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't think why they'd want to do that. That just seems kind of silly.
They tried to do that before when New Line purchased the Texas Chainsaw Massacre right at the time, and then they did Leatherface like its own movie. You know, they tried to do it and it failed. So I guess they're trying again. I guess they want to break him away from that and just it be about him. We'll see.
I guess the question is, how many slasher movie newbies can they bring in to
what?
genre?
What do you mean, like sequels to Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Well, no. I mean, new viewers coming into the theater.
Well, I think, you know, right now, like I said before, the time is ripe for horror movies. We're in a day and age where it takes them $5 million to make a movie that makes like $200 million, or even $100 million is massively profitable. So, look at the Blair Witch Project. Look at Conjuring. I mean, Purge 2.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of these movies, I guess you can consider them horror or a thriller. I guess, you know. Well, I don't know. I just think like Texas Chainsaw had a great run earlier, but nowadays I don't know if.
I think it's doing good now. I think that there's an audience for Texas Chainsaw Massacre now, and it might become bigger than what it used to be. And this
those are just not the kind of movies I go for, like the Saw or.
Well, I know.
I don't mind a thriller movie like maybe even the Purge. Like right. I don't mind seeing that, but yeah, I don't go out of my way personally for the.
What's up, Mike D?
Hey.
What we're talking about, the plans are afoot for 2 different Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. One to be a sequel to the direct movie we saw the last time, which is awesome. And the second one, they want to do like a separate franchise where they're going to show Leatherface the young years, when he was like a teenager, growing up. What do you think about that, my friend?
Are we going to be able to use adult language on this podcast? Cause
yes, it's the horror.
I don't know if I can adequately. Okay. Oh, we are live. I'm sorry.
We are live.
Well, okay.
Horror Tales 26.
Yes, I see the live now. I think it should actually.
Right. Yes, it's the biggest pile of monkey crap, right? To do the young Leatherface years, you're saying, or
yeah.
to do.
Well, I mean, it would be like if Rob Zombie, like, say, for instance, took some franchise like Halloween and decided that he was going to explain a young Michael Myers or something. Oh, that happened. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Right. Basically. Well, let me read a little bit of the article and see what they're talking about. See, what would Leatherface's teenage be like? Let's see, Millennium Films, who was behind the 2013 Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D.
Are we gonna see how he developed his interest for making beef jerky?
I guess. Yeah, they're saying that it's gonna be.
Ironically, you were just talking about a show though that is pretty much the same thing, which is the young Norman Bates, but you actually like that, so that's
I love that actually.
Yeah,
love it. I mean, so much. It's like ridiculous. You know, I love the Psycho movies.
So it shows where it might work with some franchises, but maybe not Leatherface. I mean, Mike, you're right. I don't see that working at all.
Yeah, I mean, Norman Bates is.
And I was against it originally because I never saw it. I was against Bates Motel. So I remember they tried to reboot it in the 80s or 90s as a TV series, and I wasn't crazy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it now.
The thing with Norman Bates is he's a complex character, and his sort of character can kind of cry out to have an origin story. But Leatherface, he doesn't even talk. He just grunts and runs around wearing people's skin on his face with a chainsaw, which is cool in and of itself, but that's not going to carry a series.
Right.
I mean, what are you going to introduce him to a love interest every week or something? I mean, come on.
Look, it's just... Obviously, he's just going to be killing people, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's not really a story behind it, but they want to make one, I guess. Were they going to try to say he was a nice guy, and then something changed him or something?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody disfigured his face and he got all crazy.
Well, it could be like a dysfunctional Brady Bunch because like the whole family was really screwed up. So I mean, that might be kind of funny to see them all just being a bunch of whack jobs, but
or being all normal and then something happens. I don't know.
I'd rather just see some new ideas. People come up with some new stuff, and like let some of this stuff lie for a little while. I mean, the Scream series sounds a little interesting. I'm kind of curious to see where they're going with that.
Well, that's my next article.
There you go.
But,
There's a segue for it.
Yeah, but before we do that, I like the idea that, well, say if they're like Chucky, right? They feel that there's two stories rather than one to tell, right? And then that movie was so phenomenal, the last one, I liked. You could have a whole story on, him being inside the child, and that could be a whole new thing. Or you can go with him going after, was it Barkley, the kid? Whatever. That's adult now. So there's technically two movies they're going to be working on with Child's Play. Chucky. And then the plan was that they were going to reboot it eventually, but now they're not going to reboot it. They're just going straight sequels. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one's going to do good, and one's not going to do good. I don't think they would both do good. I don't think the Leatherface is the way to go with the teenage years. I don't really care about that. So, Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel, I would be interested to see.
I don't think any movie should have two movies going in two different directions out at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, that's, look, we were in a day and age where they announced 3 sequels ahead of time, and then it happens. It's like...
That's their own stupidity.
Well, it did work with Transformers, because Transformers, they said Transformers 5, 6, and 7 is greenlit. And then guess what happens? Ford did $1 billion. $1 billion.
Well, that was only because they fired that LaBeouf, right?
Oh,
Shia LaBeouf got fired.
Yeah, thank God for that.
Yeah, but I mean, you pretty much, like, how could you go wrong with just making a movie where there's just giant robots blowing up buildings and throwing stuff? People, I mean,
you don't need, like, a plot. Like, it's people just, that's cool.
I mean, I don't understand why they're not, like, throwing out all these Halloween and Friday the 13th movies every year. Because,
don't understand why they don't
people,
do that.
It's that time of the year. People want to go see. I mean, it's not that currently, but I mean, I'm saying coming up shortly. It's going to be that time of the year. People are going to want to go and see the latest Halloween film. I mean, if they're seeing Drek like Saw Part 8, I mean, they're going to go see like something like Michael Myers. I'd rather see that than some crap like the latest torture porn film.
I'm actually very interested in the story with Christopher Nolan, how to do Interstellar. He got them to give up the rights to Ferret. I just find that an interesting thing, how whatever way to get this movie done, which is probably going to be a franchise, Interstellar, he wanted Paramount to have the rights back to Friday the 13th. That's interesting. I mean, is he a fan?
What do they get the rights back to?
Paramount Pictures has the rights back for Friday the 13th for like 5 years only. So when they didn't have 5 years, they can make tons of movies. But then it's going to go back to New Line, Warner Brothers Pictures. Okay? New Line Cinema, Warner Brothers. So they have 5 years, I think, to make as many.
That's a straight 5 years? So that's a straight 5 years? No. You have to make a sequel in X amount of time? Or...
5 freaking years they have. And they're making one. It's like basically Paramount Pictures has got their character back, and they should treat it like perfectly. I mean, they could make sequels to the movies they had before, but I don't know what direction they're going to go in. I mean, I would be pumping them out like every year or 6 months or whatever.
You don't want another Jason in space, do you?
No. Well, the thing is, even with that, right?
I mean, at least it was original.
I would actually have another one of those, just to have like a thing where that thing gets prevented. That whole, because with space and time travel, you could always do some funky stuff, So you could always go back in time and meet and prevent that whole timeline from happening or some stupid thing like that,
I'm sorry, which franchise are we talking about?
We're talking about Friday the 13th with space and stuff.
They need to get away from that space crap. That really, like,
I know, but I'm just saying, like, if they had to do another one. You know.
Well, the thing with Friday the 13th films is they didn't feel like they really had to explain anything until they started getting into, like, the weird stuff. I mean,
exactly.
it was like, you know, hey, here's a group of kids. Hey, stick with what works. Don't overthink it.
That's
group of camp counselors. There's some sex. There's some drugs, and there's some killing.
No plot. Right.
Yeah.
And then it's got all, you know, he got blown up, and then somebody ate his heart, and then it was just like weird.
I mean, if they want to like redo something with Friday the 13th, maybe they should redo like the Tommy Jarvis storyline and do something with that, where they make it like a trilogy or something.
But here's my example of the two things at the same time deal. They are doing the Tommy Jarvis thing. They're doing it in the TV series with Jason in the TV series. So we're going to have a TV series, right, where Jason kills people every week, and they're going to have past survivors.
That's not going to work, though, because, like, Friday the 13th, who's going to watch... well, hold on. What network is this on first?
I don't know yet.
I mean, do you see where I'm going with that? I mean, people aren't going to watch Friday the 13th unless they're going to get to see some gore and some slashing at it.
Probably cable. Okay. More than likely, it's going to be cable.
Because HBO's got Evil Dead, so I guess if they go that direction...
It could be cable. Somebody, well, no, HBO really got Evil Dead, or is that just a fan poster?
I thought they did.
No, I see. I saw that poster before. I thought it was all real. I went to share it. That's a fan-made post. I suggested a couple days ago that it should be on HBO because True Blood's leaving. But there is no confirmation that HBO has Evil Dead yet. No. So somebody's gonna have to put it
on FX. It'll be better than it would be on like NBC or CBS. Right.
It can't be on a regular channel. We have to find out who's getting Friday the 13th TV series, who's getting Scream TV series, who's getting Tales of the Dark Side TV series that's coming back.
Well, that might be an example of like too much spread out too thin, because like it's kind of like you know, the James Bond film franchise works because you only get like a film every other year, and like with Friday the 13th, it'd be like, what if you had a James Bond TV show where every week it's like, you know, just a repetition of the same sort of thing? It would get kind of tired quickly. But
this is the way it's going to get weird. They're going to have the two things. They're going to have the show and the movies at the same time.
That's like overkill, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're talking about it with Scream, that they're going to have both the next Scream movie and that at the same time. They're talking about Friday the 13th. They're doing 2 movies that allow to face different things, franchises. They're looking to throw everything at you now.
Well, it sounds to me like they're throwing shit against the wall. It just seems with sticks at this point. It's just they're just throwing crap up against the wall just to get people talking about it, so that they can dip their toe in the water and gauge the public consensus on those ideas.
We know we're getting a new Halloween movie. Somehow it's going to be a sequel to Rob Zombies without Rob Zombie. Don't know how.
All right.
We know that we're getting a Friday the 13th film. We know we're getting more Chucky movies. What else? I have to say something else is coming back.
Why are they doing a sequel to those Rob Zombie things?
I don't know.
All they want to do is sequels. There's nothing original anymore. It's just sequels.
Wait a minute. Didn't Danielle Harris die in the second one?
Her character, she played. I'm trying to think of her character. Yeah, but she was one of the original 3 characters from like the original John Carpenter Halloween. I'm trying to think if it was Nancy or
she was in 4.
Lori, Nancy, and I forget the other girl's name. Yeah, I know the.
Yeah, but they said she's coming back. How is I thought she died in the second one. Wasn't she just like chopped up in the top or chopped up in the house or something, and then I don't know. It's crazy.
I remember she got, you know, a pretty thorough working over by Michael.
The talk is for her to come back too, which I don't, unless they just redo it with her. I don't know. A 3rd reboot, I guess.
I wonder if one of the things is we've just gotten like over inundated with all of these like really low budget shit horror films that have been out that have just completely worn out anything to do with vampires, anything to do with zombies. And it's like, it's just really just going to the well one too many times.
Well, there's going to be a Last of Us movie, which is based on a video game.
I don't even know what that is.
There is going to be an Arnold Schwarzenegger zombie movie.
Yeah, that's Abigail, I think, right?
Something. Maggie or something.
Maggie.
No, Abigail is the Conjuring spinoff thing.
Well, that's a nice original movie that came out, last year. That it's based on a semi-true story from the 1970s. That's the kind of direction they should be going in. Stuff like that, and maybe Sinister, which is really good. Really good horror movie.
Doctor Who and Hype, that was cool too.
Well, see, if you look at the. Sorry, bro. Go ahead. There's a delay on here.
I was saying there's just too much sequelitis going on. It's just like, let's just remake this stuff and remake that stuff, and why not just go with some original story like those two? Like Sinister was really good scary movie. So was
that's The Conjuring sequel, and The Strangers is getting a sequel too.
The history of horror. There's a good book that's out called, I believe it's The Horror Show, that David J. Schall wrote, and it actually traces back like the history of horror films throughout the decades, and it seems like horror tends to really like come into prominence during like certain times in our history. Like the Universal films were like as a result of like the wars and all of that were going on, and then you got into like the giant bug films that were kind of as a result of like the whole nuclear scare going on, and then you got into stuff like the Body Snatchers, which was like this red communism scare, and then you got into like the stuff with like the slasher films, which was like we've kind of grown out of like knowing vampires are real and zombies are real, but slashers can be real because I mean you can actually be somewhere and have somebody hunting you down. So it's kind of like horror is a product of its time, and right now we're just kind of in between those two. We're in a lull period.
Right. There is going to be another Blob movie. There is going to be. Quentin Tarantino wants to do a new version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but he's busy right now. That's on the back burner.
I'll bet you it would be very violent.
Saw's coming back.
And Sam Jackson would be in it, I'm sure.
The only movie that's not coming back yet is Nightmare on Elm Street, but they did say that they're going to continue with the current Freddy Krueger, who was what's his name?
Robert, that's the guy that was in Watchmen.
Yeah. That if they have a right story, they're gonna tell it.
What's his name? Earl Haley or something?
Whatever.
James Earl.
Yeah. Jackie Earl Haley.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that they will do a Nightmare on Elm Street when they get the proper story. So that they're looking to get a story for that. So that will come back eventually too. So, and now they're talking about the Shining prequel. That's coming back.
Doctor Sleep. Well, Stephen King wrote the book Doctor Sleep. That was like a prequel, right? Or sequel or prequel? Oh, okay.
Sequel.
But the
grown-up prequel. Or Danny Torrance. My bad.
Yeah.
Well, they were talking about Rob Zombie was going to be doing the Blob. Like he was attached to that like 3 or 4 years ago.
He's doing movie 31 or something. A clown.
32.
32.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. He really ought to just stick to making music. I mean, I can't think why he'd want to bother with movies anymore since nobody likes them.
Well, the joke was how Rob Zombie tends to like white trash up everything. That the Blob was going to be a product of like some toxic chewing tobacco or something.
Cool.
No, that's actually a joke, but I guess that speaks volumes. That sounds like something authentic that he would do.
It does. I mean, that's what I mean. Just get back in the studio and make some tracks, dude.
Toxic chewing tobacco. The Blob.
Blob's coming back, so.
How about Return of the Living Dead? I just watched that again last night for the first time in many years.
No word on that. And also a big spoiler, Jason Voorhees is in the Friday the 13th because some idiot said he wasn't. Like it was going to be a thing about his mother or something. Obviously Jason's the star of his movie, so he's the star. And it's not going to be found footage crap either. So that's good. The Scream story that I wanted to talk about, they have some casting on here. Let's see what it says. John Carna and Carlson Young, pitching in True Blood. The model Amadeus Serafini are among the top choices to lead MTV's series pilot, says the site. At least one of these characters, who played by Carna, Young, and Serafini, will not survive to see the end of the first season. That's all. Nothing, no big spoiler there.
It just seems like these concepts would work better as like films, because it just seems like it would just get burned out really quickly doing this like a week after week sort of storyline, as opposed to like doing a film every year or every Halloween.
Well, the biggest failure was Zombieland TV series. That was so bad that the fans turned on it and rejected it. So, you ever see the episode of that?
I did.
Terrible.
Through Amazon, right?
It was on Amazon.
Yeah. No, I never saw that. I saw the movie though.
Yeah, so. Oh, and Paranormal Activity has been delayed, I think, 2015 now. The new one. That's going on too. That still continues. Paranormal Activity. Let me look at the release date schedule.
I never saw those.
Let's see the release schedule here. Let's see. I'm going to look up 2015.
I'd like to see the Eli Roth, I believe it's called Green Inferno, that's coming out, the cannibal
Me too.
film.
That I want to see as well.
See, I miss the days where horror films really were like just pushing the envelope, and
Right. Now it's
you
just...
had complete commercialization of things. I mean, it's like, you had like David Cronenberg, who's pushing the boundaries with things, and like Romero with Dawn of the Dead with the gore factor, but the gore was relevant to the storyline. I miss, like, because that's the point of horror films, is to horrify you. I mean, to make you, uncomfortable, frighten you, do all sorts of stuff, and I just haven't had that experience in a long time. It just seems like those films from like the 80s, late 70s to like mid 80s, they just really haven't recaptured that sort of excitement to me.
Let me give it a release date. Amityville, was delayed. Now it's going to be released in 2015 in January, the new version.
Are they still beating that dead horse?
Yes.
Well, if they burn that house down at this point.
Followed by, in February, the return of Poltergeist.
Man.
Which is interesting.
Okay.
When are they going to make a new House movie? Come on.
There's
They would just
also...
remake it.
With James, it's got to have James Caan in it too.
All right, so January is Amityville. February is Poltergeist. March is Scouts versus Zombies.
Scouts versus Zombies?
What is that?
Like Boy Scouts versus Zombies?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said Scouts, like Graham.
Yeah, Boy Scouts, but it's starring Arnold Schwarzenegger's son, I believe.
Which one? His actual son or the one by the...
They're both his sons. I mean, that's...
The one by the maid or the one by Maria?
Yeah.
Which
Which
one
one
is
is
that?
that?
That's
Bastard.
ridiculous. Like, they're both his sons. I mean, whatever.
Maybe they'll team up in the fight against the undead.
Or they'll fight each other in like a... Insidious Chapter 3 is in May. What else we have here?
And Saw Part 16, coming your way.
Goosebumps is coming. It's August. That's a kid's horror thing. Sinister 2 is in August.
No, that should be good. The first one was very good.
Yeah.
Throwback movie. The kind of movie that, that you were just talking about, 70s, 80s kind of horror flick.
What's Blumhouse? Blumhouse horror. What the hell is that?
Yeah, Sinister was creepy, too. There was some really, like, kind of creepy stuff in that.
Yeah.
Blumhouse horror. Frankenstein in October.
Mr. Bookie.
Yeah, Frankenstein 2015. By Fox.
By Fox?
Yeah. Conjuring 2. November is Friday the 13th. And December is nothing, because Star Wars is coming out.
No one's going to touch that date with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Star Wars is not this Christmas, but the following Christmas?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, this Christmas is still The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't expect every movie that comes out near Star Wars to leave. And, yeah. We'll talk about that on the Everything Show, because I have some news about Star Wars Episode 7, which is crazy. If it's true.
Rob Zombie doing that?
No. Alright, any final thoughts on the Horrorcast?
Yeah, bring back some horror.
Well, they are. The
I
original Universal monsters are coming back in separate movies. Probably, what do we say, over 10 movies? Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Mummy.
Yeah. It was my understanding they're starting with The Mummy.
Yeah. They're all coming back, and they're all going to be crossing over into each other.
Are they going to be like period piece films, or are they doing like modern takes on this?
I don't know. Modern takes, maybe? I don't know. They're gonna have like House of Dracula, House of Frankenstein. They used to all just, for the whole 10-15 year period, there's gonna be this massive project. That's gonna be their Marvel version of the horror, like movies popping out every year, a couple of movies.
The Horror Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have like Chris Hemsworth as Frankenstein and like Orlando Bloom as Dracula, and it's gonna suck.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Justin Bieber as Renfield and Orlando Bloom as Frankenstein. Yeah. Yeah. All right. On that note.
Maybe Igor.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's it. Take care. Bye for now.